how should design education adapt to AI advancements? You know, what risks do AI bring to the design process?
Okay, so
Maybe two
how
questions
should,
in
yeah,
one there a bit, but yeah.
yeah, no worries. So how should design education adapt to AI advancements, and kind of what risks does AI bring into this design process? So, um, I think as my true belief that being a designer for, I think it's over 15 years now, professionally, that actually the core skills that people still need to understand is still sketching and understanding three dimensions. Those are still very much needed. I think that's just a core principle of every designer they need to know. And also understanding car proportions, volumes, those things really can never be replaced. I think just as in every field you're in, you really need to understand what you're looking at and what you're trying to do. Those are your core foundations of anything you try to do. So, but when it comes to design education, I believe it should adapt to help design students understand more about what AI can do, and how they can kind of supplement their skills. I think supplementing skills is still, don't let it overtake their skills and become dependent on it, but allow it to support their skills and further elevate their work. So core of designers' work should still be creation. Maybe less laborious rendering, less laborious time doing like very menial tasks. But that means because you have less time to do rendering, because it can be done for you, you can spend more time creating what you want. You can spend more time on the groundwork and let the end result be done by AI, basically. So I do believe that human creation is most important. The industry knows what AI software is out there and what it can do. So focusing on creativity is more present than ever. Just because it's new to the people who come to the university, it's already old to those people who are using it in the industry. So I don't say we're steps ahead. I'm not saying that, but I mean, we're used to seeing it on such a mass scale that it gets boring to us. So actually, we want to see genuine creativity that will shine even more these days. So yeah, so focusing creativity, and also then another kind of aspect is how you use AI to showcase your creative idea. That's also a very important thing, I think. So, I see AI every day, as I said, so I can see what AI is and I can see what's human created. So for me, seeing more focus on the human and then the AI boosting is a very important thing. So you cannot really fool anyone by using AI and saying it's your own. We will always know this kind of thing. So yeah. Basically, the risks that come with this is that there are numerous risks. I believe the ability to manipulate others' work and kind of change it so much that it's a little bit unrecognizable. It is something that happens. People take a sketch, they put it into AI, it changes it, but it keeps the same proportion, maybe changes the design. So it's a bit like you're using standing on someone else's shoulders, whereas you're not really doing the groundwork yourself, which is obviously considered wrong. So it's best to be careful when you do that, because it can always come back to bite you on the heels, if that happens. So try to do things yourself, and when you use AI to make your work better, still judge your work and know, is it good enough, this kind of thing. So, and that will still help you to improve. So don't try to rip off other people's work. Yeah, so try to be creative with it and create genuinely new things is also important. Judging new things is also important. Yeah, so also, again, another problem with AI is that if everyone's using it, the ability to create the same thing also can happen. It's not an unknown thing that it can happen. If one person in this company is typing something, another person in this company is typing something, if you only have a set amount of data from which you're working from, it's very likely that a similar thing can happen. So it's just because what you created looks good to you doesn't mean that someone else in another place hasn't already created it. I've seen it happen. I've seen several designers almost create the same thing in the same studio, or it's kind of scary. So always be aware of what you're creating. Yeah, so there will be incidents like this, and maybe there'll be turning points in the industry that will happen. Maybe there'll be some concept cars, some show cars that you go, oh, that's extremely AI, or that's very similar to that person's concept car. It can happen, because as humans, we get bowled over by the image. we struggle sometimes to think about what is the right thing to do. So, yeah, as I said, using AI now inside the company, it's all internal and wonderful. But as soon as we see something else that comes out that's even remotely similar, that's where we go, oh, we got bowled over by the image, and we should be more wary of what we're trying to make here and be more true to ourselves rather than relying on the AI. So yeah, so I think these shocks and these incidents may happen, whether on a student level, whether on a company level, whether on a global level, I'm not sure. But I think as humans, we're always able to rectify problems, whether they're before it happens or after it happens, to understand how we need to direct the direction of the project or the design to become more human focused rather than relying on AI. Yeah, not trying to doom scare there, but
yes, I'm just sitting here scared out of my bones. God,
no,
we're all gonna die.
I'm just trying to say, use your own personal
No, I know.
convictions about AI,
Yeah.
not convictions about design, and be true to yourself, basically.
Yeah, I get you.